Hello everyone, my name is Vivian and welcome back to Tennis Ace. I know we just finished the 0.55 build, and I even made a comment that I was hoping that by the time I got that done, which I recorded back in June, that I'd hope that by the time I got through all of those updates that I was recording through, because I was behind a lot. You know, I had missed a lot of updates for all three routes, that another update wouldn't have gotten released by the time that all of those were done. But lo and behold, before even all of those videos are published, the next update has been released. It is a June update, and I've also gotten a couple of comments about how my saltiness has been affecting you, and how even one of my videos was apparently, according to one commenter, 55% screaming. So I'm recording right now where Bree is in the next room sleeping. So by necessity, I have to be quiet. So hopefully that will mitigate my my saltiness. Also, just in general, I don't want it to be unpleasant for anyone, including myself. So here we are, October, June. So I guess this is the most recent one. Yeah, day 32. And here we are. July 6th, Thursday. Oh, just a spritz of water for us. I leaned back in the bathtub, enjoying the soothing sensation of water all around me. For the last few days, I'd managed to convince Aki to give me some more privacy and peace of mind. Among those small victories, I counted the right to bathe by myself. As much as Aki seemed to be having fun, and I do have to admit that on some level it was fun to be able to chat and goof off, I valued my independence much higher than that. Especially because, due to the warm water helping my stiff muscles and joints to relax, it was an especially good time to stretch and rub my knee. The water offered little resistance and allowed me to do so with a lot less pain and risk than I would have otherwise in doing it in the open air. Then again, less doesn't mean nothing. And considering how every single pop or groan on my part would cause Aki to flinch or dart back up on his feet as if he had to come and help me or something, I could hardly relax in that kind of situation. No, it still hurts sometimes. It wasn't fun to feel that pain. It was even less fun to realize just how right the doctors were when they told me about how I would have a limited range of motion. Honestly, even getting my knee to straighten up seemed completely beyond my capabilities right now. Which isn't to say I haven't been getting better, of course. Every single day I could feel it, little by little, feeling almost glacial at times, but there was actual progress being made. Progress which, of course, did nothing to address the real problem with my current situation. Second place, huh? It's petty. Fully aware of how petty it is, but even though I was all smiles and asking them and to tell me about the Kanto regional competition in every possible detail, well, even though I insisted that I was fine and they didn't need to be so coy around me, the truth I couldn't ignore was that I wasn't. I wasn't fine with it. The thought keep spinning. The thought keeps spinning around inside my head like a merry-go-round that would never stop. And the more I tried to push these thoughts inside the small box I'd created for them in my mind, the more they seemed to fight back. Yeah, it's because they're not supposed to go in the box, man. I thought I was fine last night. Talking to June was a good distraction. It really did lift my spirits, but My unconscious mind was an entirely different story. It had a habit of bringing to surface thoughts best kept hidden. Thoughts I thought I managed to push away into the deepest recesses of my mind. Thoughts I thought would never return. I dreamt of Takagi-kun last night. I don't even know why. Thinking of the tournament brought the thought to my mind over and over, like I was mourning something that had never even come to pass. The thought of him seemed to show up even more and more often recently. Maybe it was because I had June now and I felt happy about it, but in doing so, I finally realized that part of me I'd been in denial about this whole time, pretending like I didn't, so doing such a good job of it that I convinced even myself about it. Yeah. Maybe it's because of that the thought of Takagi-kun seemed to linger especially often now. Thoughts of what might have happened if I knew better back then. It's not like I want to go back. If anything, I think I like June even more than I used to like Takagi-kun. I know our relationship has only just started, but I've been thinking about my feelings for him so long that I didn't even realize they'd gotten such a tight grip on me over time. Trying to think of all this, just feeding the merry-go-round. Wait, can you even feed a merry-go-round? Is that a bad metaphor? Who cares? It's not like I'm telling anyone about it anyway. There's no one to judge me inside my own head. Alone while these thoughts festered inside my mind, I traced the outline of the scar that formed on my shoulder. As the fur began to grow around it, it grew fainter and fainter. Soon, the last reminder of the accident would go away, even if the consequences of it never did. I can't decide whether the thought is comforting or haunting right now. Why do I even get lost in thoughts like these every time I'm alone in the first place? Insert joke about visual novel protagonists. I hate being surrounded by people right now. It feels suffocating. Trying to keep a pleasant smile and an upbeat attitude makes me feel like I'm some kind of show monkey. Need to dance to keep them all entertained. The alternative to that would be worse. Way, way worse. I'd rather pretend than have them fretting incessantly over me all the time. If anything, I think that would be the absolute worst part about it. So I guess I'll take the pretending. Even if it sucks. The spray again. Trying to chase those thoughts away from my mind, I grabbed the hose and pointed it at my own head, making sure to close my eyes before unleashing it at full blast. I don't know if that does much, but at least it's comforting in its own strange way. And right now, I'll take whatever comfort I can get. I close my eyes, leaning further back and letting myself slowly slide down until just the tip of my snoot is out of the water. At the very least, it's relaxing to be like this. Maybe I should just let my head sink fully under the water, hold my breath for a minute or so. If anything, I'm sure that would wake me up proper. And at the very least, gasping for air would give me something else to think about right now. Maybe that would be its own form of comfort too. Who knows? Just hate this constant up and down. Every time I think I'm doing fine, something happens to knock me back down to the ground. This world is punishing me for having the gall to think I'm allowed to breathe out. I guess I have been holding my breath for a while now. In a way. No, I don't like myself when I'm alone. These thoughts are not me. I don't want to think this kind of crap. These thoughts will not be me. I ain't giving the world the satisfaction of knocking me down that low. No friggin' way. Having spent quite enough time lazing around in the tub, I carefully get up on my feet, reaching for the support of the crutches off to the side so I can start drying myself and getting out of here. Much as I hate putting on an act, I want to be left alone with these intrusive thoughts even less. Sometime later, upon finally heading downstairs after getting my fur properly dried and then getting dressed, I was greeted to the side of Mom and Aki silently watching TV together in the living room. While he allows me to bathe on my own now, Aki still insists on going first so he can leave everything ready for me. And he's the stubborn type, so no amount of insistence will see him change his mind once he's decided on something. Which is why decisive action is required to talk him out of it before he sets his mind on something.
Ah, Nijan!
Bree's awake now so I can speak at full volume. No, Aki, stay!
But...
Aki had tried to get up from his seat and help me down the stairs as soon as he heard the sound of my crutches hitting the wooden floor. However, I quickly shut him down before he had the chance to. What did we talk about? Sweetie, I understand your concern, but your brother's peace of mind is important to his recovery as well. Do try not to aggravate him.
Okay.
There we go. Aki, now looking slightly more downcast than he was a minute ago, sits back down on his chair, earning me a small victory in the long, arduous battle for my independence. Like I said, decisive action. I appreciate the help, but I'm not completely useless, you know. I've been going up and down the stairs just fine without help. I even did so at school yesterday.
If you say so.
Of course, I leave out the part about my whole body being sore after, especially under my arms where the crutches applied the most pressure, and also the part about me nearly regretting my decision. If he heard that, he might just never leave me out of his sight again, and by God, that would be humiliating. But the same goes to you, Rutherford-kun. Your brother is just trying to help. Do try to be more understanding. He's plenty understanding. This has been a long time coming, so he understands plenty. But y'all don't seem to understand his inner turmoil by the lack of therapy. So, back off. All of my understanding is already being used at the moment, since he's one of the only two people who understands himself, yes. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate how much Aki seems to care, but I'm not an invalid. I sneak a glance at the clock, checking how long we still have before needing to leave for school. Thankfully, there's still enough time to sit down and take a breather for a minute. Lord knows I need it every time I go up or down the stairs. I did some more stretching in the bath this morning. I can move my knee a little bit more than I did yesterday, so that's nice. Well, that's great, sweetie. Do remember, we have to take you back to the hospital next week for a quick checkup on your progress. I'm sure the doctors will be pleased to hear that. To hear as well. To hear that as well. Don't remind me. I'd be just as well never having to set foot in that place again.
Agreed.
Now, you two will not turn into hospital haters. Not under my watch. I know they can be scary sometimes, but you can't avoid seeing a doctor just because you're uncomfortable. Your health is more important than that.
We know that. Jeez, Mom.
Still, it bears repeating. Now? Does it really need repeating now? I suppose the timing might not have been the best. There we go.
Still, your knee is getting better, huh? That's pretty cool. How much were you able to move it?
It still stings a little if I try to get it perfectly straight. Right now I can about manage getting halfway there or 3/4 of the way. Hard to say. The warm water certainly helps. Not that it doesn't still sting a little. The worst one is the feeling of something catching and tugging. Kinda like suddenly being caught and reeled by a fish hook, I'd imagine. It's really unpleasant. But thankfully, it doesn't happen all that often anymore. Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to get rid of these a lot sooner than we imagined. I gestured to the crutches, trying to keep the annoyance from showing in my voice. Don't get me wrong, they've been my pals since the accident, and I'm so glad I have them. I will have been even gladder when I don't. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, sweetie. We'll focus on your recovery first. Whether or not you can stop using the crutches sooner than expected will be for the doctor to decide. I know that. I'm just trying to look forward to something. Sheesh. Tough crowd.
Nichan, we should probably get going. The cat will be here any minute.
I guess. I know you don't like it, but please bear with it until you're better, honey. We don't want to rush your recovery and end up hurting you even worse. Yeah, I know that. I've gotten at least 10 different versions of that speech from what seems to be everyone in my life lately. Getting up from the sofa, we quickly collect our bags, watching the car pull up outside from the window just as we begin to do so. See, that makes more sense. You have a giant wall-sized window instead of just hearing... I know, someone commented like, there aren't as many cars driving around neighborhood areas in Japan. But still, just, oh, I hear a car, must be ours. You have a giant fucking window in your fucking living room. Use that. You just use it. Yes. We see the car pull up, and we go. I guess there is an upside to hiring a service to drop by on a scheduled hour, huh?
I left your lunches on the counter. Don't forget to bring them with you.
Oh, I guess that's supposed to be a mom line. I left your lunches on the counter. Don't forget to bring them with you.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks. It's pretty nice to have your cooking on the regular again. It's nice to get to do it again as well. I'm definitely savoring this while it lasts. I know Mom won't be able to stay home all that long. Oh, she's already been taken to a room so she can work more and more often as of late. Only a matter of time at this point.